Before this video starts, if you guys could rank NBA 2K23 out of 10, 1 being the worst, 10 being the best. For me, myself, I have not played current gen. I don't really plan on playing current gen. The only thing I played is Park on NBA 2K23 next gen. I have over 300 games played. I played against bad players. I played against really sweaty players. And overall, gameplay-wise, I would give this game a 7.5 out of 10. I don't think it's perfect, but I definitely think it is better than NBA 2K22. I enjoy the fact that you have the greenest shot to actually make it, because it takes away the RNG and it takes away for people who don't know their jump shot. Now, I'm going to talk about this in a completely separate video. I do think that the way NBA 2K22 or 23 is made this year is going to kill the casual fan base. We'll talk about that in a completely separate video. But overall, I would give it a 7 out of 10. My biggest issue with NBA 2K23 gameplay-wise is 100% the paint defense. The paint defense this year is absolutely insane. It's almost like it's non-existent. I know people are going to say, oh, you don't have any interior defense. My centers have the highest interior defense possible. Even when they have rim takeover, contested layups still go in at a very high volume. I'm talking 20+%, 30+%, literally go in every single game. And moving forward, I'm telling you this right now, if you guys are a guard, Hall of Fame glove is going to be your worst nightmare. I played against a threes lineup that ran a lock, a paint beast, and whatever, and glove was absolutely insane. I was getting put in animations coming up the court, not even dribbling. I don't dribble against locks because I know they're going to spam me, and I get the ball stripped from me every single time. Not even dribbling, just walking up the court, I'm getting stripped, and I have gold unpluckable on. But that is my opinion on NBA 2K23 so far. I'd give it a 7.5 out of 10. Definitely some improvements, but overall, I think they did a decent job with the online gameplay this year. I haven't played my team. I've only played Park, so your opinions may be different, but I'm curious on what you guys think. But enough with that talk. Let's talk about the topic of today's video, and that is finally, the fact that the 2K community is talking about the outrageous prices it is to actually upgrade your build this year. And the reason why I made that video 2 days ago was for this sole reason. I want people talking about NBA 2K23, and I want people talking about how much VC is and how much it is to make a build, because I know that I have 103K subscribers on this YouTube channel. By the way, shout out to everyone who's subscribed lately and liked the videos. I appreciate it. I know that I have 103K subscribers, but at the end of the day, I'm not going to be able to do anything. Now, in reality, a lot of us aren't going to be able to do anything, but at least if we talk about it, we can let people who don't know much about the franchise know about what they're getting themselves into. Now, I know that NBA 2K23 isn't a terrible game, but when it comes to the build prices and it comes to VC, people are going to be spending hundreds of dollars to even enjoy NBA 2K23 in its fullest. I go on Twitter and I see people talking about VC. People are tweeting about this. People are talking about it. They're saying, oh, it's 450,000 VC just to max out one build. People talking about how much VC it's going to be to upgrade their build. And I even seen a graphic from All City TV that shows people how much it's going to cost to get their build maxed out, which is 450,000 plus VC, which is going to cost you $100 plus, not including clothes, not including animations. People are finally understanding how expensive NBA 2K23 is going to be this year, especially for people who play Park. And the crazy thing is, I get sent new things every single day since I launched that video about earning VC and things like that. There is a quest in NBA 2K23 that you can play 30 games, get a teammate grade of A-, get a player of the game, or get a double-double in the NBA and my career games, and you will earn a total of 600 VC. Now, we're not going to dive into this and talk about this again, because I could sit here for hours and talk about how there's literally no ways to earn VC at an actual decent rate to be worth your time. I could sit here for hours, talk about this, but this is a real thing. You can play 30 NBA games and get given 600 VC. Now, you guys, since my video and since other people are finally speaking up, you guys are tweeting at content creators. And one tweet I want to talk about specifically is Joe Knows getting tweeted at by a guy by the name of Jonathan. He tweeted at him and he said, at Joe Knows, you want to talk about how the ridiculous VC prices are this year, or are you a sellout too? I get you don't want to bite the hand that feeds you, but we are your viewers who also put you on the map. You could be our voice or sell out like the rest, exclamate or hashtag NBA 2K23 greed, hashtag NBA 2K23, and then he followed up with this. I never asked you or any content creator to change the prices directly. Instead, create awareness of the issues so the community can have a place to attach their frustrations. You and I both know you can start some attraction regarding VC gouging. Hashtag NBA2K23 greed. Now, I think this is a great tweet. Joe Knows responded to this, and I actually think this was a very, very interesting response. I know some people thought he was being very ignorant and he was being very egotistical, but I understand where Joe Knows is coming from. He replies and says this: I agree. It costs way too much to max out a player, but I hate to break it to you, I don't set VC prices, and this tweet is not going to make a billion-dollar company decide to stop making money. LOL. Sorry, bro. And then he tweeted out a video titled, "For everyone asking me to talk about VC prices, here is my take." And here's the video.
All right, y'all want me to talk about VC prices? Here it goes, all right? So somebody tweeted at me last night saying, are you going to talk about how it costs too much to upgrade your player? And I literally said, I agree it costs too much to max out your player this year. And then I said, but looking logically, a billion-dollar company is not going to decide to stop making money. This, here we go, 2K community. Typical sellout, crazy what getting invited to community day does, signing a contract, you ain't have to sell out like this, and the list goes on and on and on. All right, so here we go. Let's address it. First of all, the contract thing. To go to Community Day, which was my first ever 2K event that I got invited to, the only thing I had to sign was a non-disclosure agreement. For those people that don't know what that is, remember I was talking about the embargo dates? Oh, I can't post the builder until this date. That's all it was. They said, emailed me, do you want to come to Community Day? All we ask is you sign a non-disclosure agreement. Don't leak the gameplay early is basically what I had to agree to. So I agreed to it, and then I told you, I showed y'all the gameplay as soon as I could. That's all I had to sign. Like, it wasn't like I had to give up my left arm to go to, like, come on, bro. Let's be realistic here, all right? Now let's talk about VC prices. I agree it costs way too much to upgrade your player this year, 100%. But if you think tweeting at the devs of the game, who are just employees of Take-Two Interactive, is going to change the VC prices, it's not, bro. Like, that's why I'm not going to put days and days and days and hours into this, because I know right now we're in a tough spot. It's not going to change until there's competition for 2K that takes customers and people say, oh, I can go over there, the game's lit, and it doesn't cost VC to upgrade players. But right now we don't have that. The only good basketball game is 2K, so we're stuck. Like, that's just logic. I know, oh, I'm a sellout for saying that. It's just logic, bro. Like, the CEO of 2K is not going to care if we get a thing trending on Twitter saying, lower VC prices. He's going to be sitting there sipping gold from his teacup laughing about, oh, they got a trending Twitter about how my company's making too much money. Like, he's a businessman. He wants to make money, bro. So I do agree that VC prices are crazy. It costs so much to upgrade your player this year, over 400,000 VC. I agree. But I'm also looking at it from a logical business point of view. We're in a tough spot. Things ain't going to change just because Joe Knows puts a tweet out or because some other creator puts a tweet out. I know y'all think it might help, but until there's competition for the game, that hurts their pocket.
There is a lot of information to dissect from Joe Knows' video, and I'm going to try to not be all over the place here because there is a lot to talk about that has happened in the past couple of days. But the first thing I want to say is respect to Joe Knows for actually speaking out with the large audience he has. I mean, he literally has 1 million subscribers. He went to Community Day this year, and he's still speaking out the fact that VC prices are absolutely outrageous, and it costs way too much to actually upgrade your player this year. And there's a lot of people who are partnered with 2K. I don't know if Joe Knows is a 2K Next Maker, but a lot of 2K Next Makers would sit there and just be silent. They're going to sit there and collect their money. They're going to sit there and get paid, and they're not going to care about how much money you guys are spending. But Joe Knows actually made a video and he talked about it, and he made a lot of good points. The 2 points he made was that 1, 2K doesn't have any competition, 1, that 2K doesn't have any competition, and 2, that VC prices aren't going to change. Now those things both go hand in hand, because if 2K had competition, VC prices would change if they saw people going to another game. And I know people would say, oh, I wish NBA Live came up with a game. I would go, no, you wouldn't. Okay, I hate when people say that. No, you wouldn't. NBA Live is not even close to being up to par with 2K, unfortunately, and I hate when people say that, but at the end of the day, he is correct. 2K is not going to change their VC prices. 2K is not sitting there, their CEO is not sitting there, or people who have stocks in the company, whatever, aren't sitting there in a meeting and they're looking at a Phantom's YouTube video and thinking to themselves, you know what, maybe we should change the VC price because this video has 80,000 views. At the end of the day, VC prices aren't going to change, and I think people with a brain know that. But just because VC prices aren't going to change does not mean that you aren't allowed to speak up for it. There's like this narrative this year where 2K released a half-decent game and you're not allowed to complain about it. Like, you're not allowed to talk about the VC prices. You're not allowed to talk about this. You're not allowed to talk about that because nothing is going to change. Okay, nothing's going to change, but why, as someone who spends X amount of money or X amount of time on something, why are they not allowed to voice their opinion on that product. It doesn't really make sense to me, and I feel like there's a lot of YouTubers who are trying to like push that narrative onto people where it's like, oh, nothing's gonna change. Why am I gonna say anything about it? Because we can bring awareness to things like this to other people who may be getting into 2K for the first time. You gotta understand this. The PS5 is the most accessible it's ever been since its release, in my opinion. It's not as hard to get a PlayStation 5 as it was in previous years, okay? So people, this is their first year on next-gen NBA 2K, and this year, I'm not gonna lie, it is very, very, very expensive. 2K is no longer a game for people who can't afford other things in life. Like if you're sitting there and you're, struggling to pay bills, whatever the case may be, you should not be playing 2K. And saying that is actually sad because that's not what a video game should be. A video game should not cost you this much money to actually enjoy yourselves. And I know that us content creators, we aren't going to be bothered by this because we can sit there and majority of us can afford VC. There are other people who support our YouTube videos and support our content that can't afford to play this game because of how expensive it is. So there's other people who are getting into 2K for the first time on next gen, right? They're getting the next gen 2K and they look up reviews of the game and they see to make a build, it's going to cost a minimum $100. To upgrade that build more, it's going to be 450 plus thousand VC. And then if they don't like their build, well, it's another $100 plus to sit there and make your build. It is absolutely insane. So I understand that we aren't going to be able to make a change to the actual prices of VC. But just because that's the case doesn't mean that I'm not going to sit here and make these YouTube videos. I'm not going to sit here and not talk about the issues at hand. Yeah, 2K made a decent gameplay in terms of 2K gameplay wise. But everything other is terrible. It is awful. There are so many things that are wrong with this game, and it's like a slap in the face to a lot of people who can't afford to play the game. Like, there was a YouTube comment that I had, and I read it. It was like a very, very long YouTube comment. And they're sitting there talking about how the only people that aren't affected by this are little kids who have their parents buy everything for them, and us content creators who sit there and it doesn't affect us. And I feel like content creators who aren't affected, they aren't going to say anything. And it makes sense because it's not going to bother them. They're still going to make money off the game and off their YouTube videos and things like that. But just because nothing's going to change, it's not like you can't sit there and talk about what's going on. I don't know. I find that a little bit ridiculous, and there's so many other things that I can sit here and talk to this about. But I'm just glad the 2K community is speaking up about this and making it aware so they can at least see that their consumers are not happy with what they're doing with their product. Because eventually, maybe there will be a basketball game that comes out, and eventually they'll fall off and they'll see the mistakes they made. But I can't see that happening for a very long time. Anyways, hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, make sure to drop a like and do not forget to subscribe to the YouTube channel. I'll see you guys next time. Peace.